Well, good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Tuesday, July 30th, 2024. It is the morning after the start of our Olympic campaign. We had 3 fighters in action last night. Bit of a mixed bag though. Terramona got us off to a really good start with a sensational first round knockout of his Ukrainian opponent. Looked really impressive. And is the hype real? There's been a lot of things spoken about Terramona, that he's a good medal chance, and from what I saw, I would have to agree. He's still got to win, 3 or maybe even 4 fights yet, so it's still a long road, extremely hard to win, obviously, but yeah, he got off to a really good start, and I like him. He's obviously got good power, but he's also got, I think, sort of underrated boxing skills. He's got good footwork, just an all-round good fighter, and I think he's probably still a little bit raw, and make no mistake about that. But I think at heavyweight you can sort of get away with that to some extent, unlike the lower weight divisions where you might get exposed by some of the more skillful boxers. There's some brilliant amateur boxers out there, but at heavyweight, yeah, I think you can probably get away a little bit more just by being a big guy with good technique and good power. I think the quality at heavyweight's probably not the same at the lower weights, but I suppose it's all relative to the size of the actual boxer, and he's a big guy, and be interested to see how he goes. And but yeah, really good start for Terramona. Yeah, let's hope he can continue his form and be in the mix for medals in another couple of fights. So it wasn't so great news for the other 2 on last night. Young Tyler McDonald lost a 5-0 decision to her opponent from Ecuador. From what I've heard though, she's relatively new to the sport, as far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the experience will be just great for her. She's got a taste of it now. The Commonwealth Games are in 2 years, so it'll probably hold her in good stead for that. And of course, the Olympics again in 4 years. So I'm sure she'll get over that the disappointment very quickly and focus on the next one. But of course, the big news was Harry Garside, the bronze medalist from Tokyo in 2021. Yeah, shattered last night. He lost a 5-0 decision to Richard Kovacs. Look, it was a tough fight. It was an even fight. I thought Harry fought really well. Just lacked in just a few certain areas. I thought the first round he boxed really well. Probably took the round. Actually, I'm pretty sure he might have taken the round on the judges' scorecards. Second round was probably for Kovacs, and the third one I thought was close, but Kovacs just that, in the clinches a little bit more pop on his punches sometimes can get the judges' attention. But the 5-0 decision, it probably sounds like it was one-sided, but believe me that it wasn't. It could have been, and I think it might have even been the case, that it was 2 rounds to 1 on all 5 judges' scorecards. So it's not like he's been outclassed like that. It was just a tough, close fight that didn't go his way. And I'm sure you've all seen the devastation after the fight with Harry. He did try and get the words out and really struggled, and did collapse, not by anything medical or anything like that. It was just by emotion and disappointment. And look, it's just to a lesser extent, it brought sort of back memories for me, because you've got to remember, and I know I did see a few comments here or there that, oh geez, come on, it's only a boxing event or whatever it might be, but you've got to remember that not just boxers, but athletes in general, at this level, especially at the Olympic Games, I mean, they get one crack at it. It's every 4 years. And they just put their heart and soul, their life, everything into this sport or into their event, into their preparation. And it's not like in the normal sense where if you play a sport or whatever, your sport normally revolves around your life, your day-to-day stuff, and you do your sport around that. When it comes to this level of sport, it's the opposite. your life revolves around boxing or whatever event you win. That is it. In Harry's case, it's boxing. It's all he would have thought about for the last 3 years since Tokyo. I think he did say that this is what he visualised. He visualised himself winning the gold. And you know, he's seen all the sports psychologists and all that out there, and of course they tell you to visualise. They tell you to visualise yourself winning, telling you to see how the fight's going to go or the event's going to go, and hopefully that is the way it goes. Unfortunately, sometimes though it doesn't work out that way, and you're left scratching your head thinking, well, geez, I've done everything right. I've done everything that I've been told to do, and I still didn't get the result. But look, when you've got 32 boxers in a division, only one boxer can win it. So you've got 32 people that are doing the same thing. Well, of course, 31 boxers are going to be pretty disappointed. But I did really feel for Harry. It's probably our best hope, or probably most recognised hope in the team. And yeah, it would have been hard for him to handle. I'm sure he'll regroup. Whether he goes back to the pros is another thing. I'm still not to be convinced. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes again for LA in 2028. And I know a lot of people have said, well, why wouldn't he just forget the amateurs, go pro? Well, the pros isn't for everybody. They are, believe me, two different sports, 180-degree different sports. They really are. The pros are a business, and a very, very tough business, ruthless business. Whereas the amateurs is still a sport. And in the amateurs, you don't get knocked around as much. Yeah, you take your licks, I suppose, and lots of cuts and bruises and sore limbs and all that sort of stuff, but you don't get knocked around to the extent that you do in the pros. You get to travel the world, you're representing your country, so lots of different reasons. And I can totally understand if he says, look, I'm going to hang around for LA, and what will it be then, 31, 32? Who knows, he might even hang around for the Brisbane Olympics in 2032. So you'll still be, I think, technically young enough. I did have someone ask me last night what the age limit is in amateur boxing, and when I was boxing it used to be 32. But when you had Manny Pacquiao talking about representing the Philippines at this Olympics, well, obviously, what is he, 44, 45? And he was, if he wanted to, able to qualify. So I'm not exactly sure, but I think worst case, it could be 32, 36, whatever. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Harry does hang around, and I would totally understand if that was the case. If he wet the pros, I know No Limit will be probably knocking on his door when he gets back about coming back to their stable, and who knows, he might. But again, I just won't be surprised if he says nope. I like the amateur variation of the sport, and or version of the sport, and I'm going to stay and go to LA in 2028. So we have got another fighter on tonight, and I'm sorry I can't remember his name. I think he's a featherweight. He's on tonight at about 5:30 from what I saw. I think he's the only one on today, but every day we'll touch on the results and what we think of that. Some other things that's happened in the last sort of couple of days, or the last 24 hours. I did see, of course, there's been a lot said about the Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga fight. I won't go over that. I've covered that a fair bit over the last few days. But the UFC, who have got obviously a show on the same night at the Sphere, Mexican Independence Day weekend. Now they've said they're going to really target Canelo, and I think Turki Al Sheikh said they're going to eat Canelo, or whatever it might have been, or the event I'm probably talking about. So far, I'm not sure the whole card's been announced, but I did see, or it's been sent to me, that the main event is, who's the coloured-haired guy? Is it O'Malley? I think it is. O'Malley, yep. Up against some, I don't know who the opponent is. Forgive me, I'm not a UFC guy. And I did see there's a female world title fighter on the undercard. Now this, in Dana White's words, was supposed to be the love letter to the Mexican UFC fans. Well, I've got to say, that's the best they've got to go up against Canelo Alvarez on that weekend. I've got a feeling that Canelo Alvarez might have the last laugh, because Canelo is a Mexican treasure, an idol, a legend, and like him or not, and I think most Mexicans do. Of course, there'll be a certain section that don't for whatever reasons, but being a Mexican holiday weekend, I've got a feeling where all the Mexican fans are going to be. They're going to be at the T-Mobile Arena supporting Canelo Alvarez, not up the road at Sofia. And I think they're two different demographics anyway. I think there's been a lot spoken about with, you know, the crossover, the UFC and boxing fans and who's going to win. I don't think it's got anything to do with that. I think the UFC fans will go to the UFC and the boxing fans, especially the Mexicans, will go to the Canelo fight. There might be a few that are torn on the pay-per-view portion of it, but I've just got a feeling that normally if you're a boxing fan, you know, there's no fights on, you might grab a UFC event if it's on, and if you're a UFC fan and there's nothing on, you might watch a boxing pay-per-view. So I think it's horses for courses, but I think on the night itself, I think you'll see a clear divide, and the boxing fans will go one way, UFC fans will go the other way. I think it'll be just a great weekend in general in Vegas to have both sets of fight fans there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting over there. A couple other things, just quickly. I've touched on the No Limit pay-per-view on August 28th, Nikita Zoo, Cohen Mazudia. Don't know what this car's doing. There has been another fight added. It's a female fight between Amber Emilia and Jazzy Parr. I like the fight. I think it's a great addition to the card. And that's in addition to the Zarafa Brown, and I just wondered what that car was doing behind me. I thought it was tailgating me, but it's next door. But yeah, Zarafa Brown and the Conor Wallace Jerome Pampaloni fight. I really like that fight. I'll just take this harness off little Neil here. He's just had his walk. Yeah, so I like it. I think it's a good addition to the show. Both girls always put on a great performance. They come to fight. So I'll have no problem handing over my $70. I know a lot of people have got a little bit of an issue with it. I'm just surprised at all the comments online about it. Look, I do get it. I do get it to some extent. $70 in comparison to what you pay overseas, but I think you got to look at it for what it is. It's a good card of fights. It's a UFC type of show where it's not based around one particular fight. And I'll just get my dog here, because another dog's about to walk past. How you doing? Come here. Come here. Oh, sorry, buddy. Sorry, that's little Neil. Another dog just walked past. So, yeah, I don't mind the card. Sorry about that. A little bit distracted by another dog walking past, and I've just taken Neil's harness off, so he's not happy. And then the last one, Wildfighter just announced their latest card. I like it. It's at the Pullman Hotel on September 21st, and that is, I think it's Luke Gersbeck up against Lilo Talipay, and I see Ben Mahoney's back against Victor Nagby, which will be a really good fight. And the other one was Ben Horn up against Jason Malia, which will be a really good test for Jason. So that's about it for today. A little bit of excitement there at the end. Don't you hate that? I just took the harness off little Neil, and a dog walks past, and I got him just at the right time. So anyway, that's Walking Boxing for today. Have a great day, and I'll catch you tomorrow.